Hello, everyone. This is our third webinar. So far, we have had amazing webinars previously. The first one being self-awareness, second being self-expression. Those are available on the YouTube channel if you would like to go back and see them. We have two more coming up, inshallah, decision making and also stress management. This is an initiative between Leiwalacom with WEPIK, with Christiana Turchetti Balducci, who has been kind enough to organize these webinars with us to get women to understand better how to develop different aspects within their emotional intelligence. And so today we will continue to do that with the subject of confidence. And today we have two amazing women with us who are going to be talking about that. We have asked a couple of questions beforehand. We would love to see what you think, what confidence means to you, and then what parts of your life do you want to have tips to enhance confidence within? So, and also if you have any questions, please write them in the chat and we'll definitely be discussing them. So starting off, we have Dr. Joanne Hans, who is a graduate from Venezuela with a professional psychology degree. She earned her master's in science in clinical mental health counseling, graduated with PhD in psychology from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist and also a professional counselor. She is the president of the Middle East Psychological Association. Joanne has over 23 years of experience and has also received many awards for her work. So thank you for being with us, Dr. Joanne. Would you like to say a bit more about yourself?
Sure. Should we introduce Federica and then me, or do you want me to do it now?
Just a short from me, short like few words before Federica.
Just on a personal touch, I have different backgrounds. So I have one of my area of expertise, I would say, is working with different cultures and in different settings as well. I've been in Kuwait. I'm currently in Kuwait and I've been here for 16 years now. But worked in the US and worked in Venezuela as well. So this is one of the I would say beauty of the experience that I bring, that is not only in one population or one culture, but in a different environments, which I think is part of what today characterizes all together, even in the workplace, in marriages, it's all multicultural.
Amazing. We also have Dr. Federica Ferrari, who is a graduate from La Sapienza di Roma University in Clinical Psychology, postgraduate in Gestalt Psychotherapy, and a psychologist at INMP, National Institute for Health in Rome. Thank you for joining us. Can we hear a bit about you?
Yes, thank you so much to invite me. And well, about culture, yes, I'm working also in the institute where I'm working with many different cultures. So I think Joanna is right. Culture is connected, somehow to confidence. And I've been working for many years with disabilities also. And I had done private practice for a long time. I'm really happy to be here and to exchange something with all you. Thank you.
That's amazing. We're happy to have you here. So I think the first question would be, I think there's a big misconception about what confidence is, and especially for women. So I would love to know, Dr. Joanne, what do you think confidence is and what is it not?
Yes, that I actually really like the fact that you started by saying there's a misconception or a misunderstanding of what confidence is. And I would say in particular in the culture that we are in the Middle East, we see the person that perhaps shows well dressed and is having maybe a lot of expensive items, or the man that has the big muscles and walks, you know, in a certain way, and we look at them as, wow, they're so confident, right? But normally the tendency of people looking at the confidence is from the external factors, and to me, confidence is more an internal thing, is the definition that the person, the individual has of themselves. To me, and in my own private practice, I always say confidence is the key to success. Is the key to success in every aspect of a human being. Is a key for success in family, work, social, personal matters, is when we believe that we have what it takes, is the belief that we have that no matter what, how hard it is, a situation, how difficult, how challenging the situation could be, we have what it takes. It might not be everything, 100% perfect, but it will get me through because I believe in myself and I have the ability to ask for help, ask for commendations, ask for clarifications, but at least the basic tools, which is the willingness and the belief in ourselves, we have it. One of the, and I would love to elaborate a little bit more about this, but one of the aspects that I believe contribute to confidence, and a lot of people ask me, do people are born with confidence or not? Do we lose it? Do we gain it? How does that work? And in my opinion, we are all born with it. The problem is that it starts fainting as we go around in our daily, matters or activities, and perhaps this gets affected or it gets hurt by some family dynamics, by some comments, sometimes bullying that happens not only in homes, but also in the schools, in the workplace. So as we are facing certain situations, our confidence may be affected. In order for me to understand that I can rebuild it as opposed to create it, it's a key factor. We all need to know that we can rebuild it. We can emphasize that we can, grow it, as opposed to believing that I don't have it and I need to gain it. I need to start establishing. This is a very good concept that we need to all understand. We all have it. We just have to kind of reconnect with it. And that is starting by self-esteem, which is the love that we have, the feelings that we have of ourselves. So once we feel good, then we can rebuild the confidence level.
But I believe I've read a couple of studies that did mention that even looking good when you are not feeling great, but when you get up and you change and you put on the makeup, even when you don't feel like it, and you do your hair, that actually builds your self-esteem, even if it's just for the day. Is that also something that we should focus on, or do we know we have to first look into those values and trust in ourselves before we look at the external part?
Yes, in my opinion, it actually goes hand to hand. There's got to be a balance, okay? Because I will not work on myself, and like I have, clients that come to therapy and we work on it. And the first thing I would probably, part of the sessions, I ask, when was the last time that you actually went and shopped something for you, that you got a new item? And they're like, oh no, until I lose 10 kilos, I'm not gonna buy anything, So then I said, no, you go and you buy something now. It doesn't have to be a cloth. It could be a perfume, something for your hair, a lotion. You need to be able to feel good. because it goes hand in hand. It goes together. When we feel good, we feel more empowered and energetic to want to work on our other levels. And that the achievements, the accomplishments, the reaching goals is what is actually going to increase the confidence level of the person. But how can we reach there when I don't feel good? You know?
Okay. Federica, do you feel the same way about it?
Yes, while you were talking, I like so much when Joanna said about rebuild the self-confidence, no? Is let us hope, but is a hope that we have proofs. We can have, maybe we have been hurted so many times, but we can always find a way, another situation where we can get up again, and in the relation with someone, a therapist, but also friends or other situation, we can rebuild our self-confidence. And also about the external items. I was smiling because just today I had my last session with a patient, and our therapy was all the time on self-confidence. And it was very nice because today, for the first time after many years, she came and she had been to the hairdresser. She was always very nice, on my opinion, but it was the first time she had changed the color of her hair. And so when I saw her and say, "Oh, very nice," and she said, "Yes, this is the sign, really, that I was in a process, and now I feel comfortable." So you're right, Aiba. We can also start from that. Taking care of us is so much important. Just also putting a cream on our face can make us feeling, no, we are taking care. We are feeding our deep. But it's also a result, no, what we are showing to the world. So there is not something, on my opinion, that is starting, but they are so much connecting and working together, the internal and the outside, what we can see.
Yeah, I noticed in some situations, Federica, that some women, for some reason, think that confidence or strength and confidence is when she is loud, or she is very rude in her demeanor, or thinks about herself more than others in a situation, and that to her is what confidence is. Why have some women reached that conclusion?
Oh, I would say for many reasons. The first that I think is that we are living in a male world. And so above all, when we are at work, in our job, we think, we always feel that we are doing some exams. We can feel, we can have these feelings from the outside. So maybe we think, okay, I have to show to be very strong, smart, as usually men are. This is a part. Then I think there is something else more than deep, that generally women and men, we are thinking that we have to show to be strong and self-confident, and so we think we have to wear a mask. No, it was what we were talking before. We have to see from outside some external signs, but if you are just acting, acting is the contrary of self-confidence, and so somehow then you discover yourself to the world, and you can meet a little problems and fall down for nothing. So of course we have to be aware of our, I was reading, position, body position, speaking loud can help, but we have to feel inside that, yes, maybe we are doing some mistakes, but doesn't matter. we are trying, no? What Joanna was saying. I try to do, and doesn't matter the result. I'm here.
I love that point. Maybe you can help me, John, with that. I've been reading the research from Harvard researcher Amy Cuddy, and she's the one that pointed the power pose for women, where you pose like you're Superwoman for a few minutes, and that gives you more confidence if you're walking into a meeting or a presentation. And this goes in between. So do you, as they say, fake it till you make it and reach that confidence level? Or do you know, is that just masking those fears and anxieties that you have?
Actually, is not necessarily about how other people sees you, okay? It's about how you feel. So I really don't agree or like much what everybody's, not just you, Teva, making that comment, but fake it until you make it is actually believing in it. If I know that I'm faking it, I will never connect with it. So I will never believe that I have it, that I have what it takes, or that I actually look good. I'm just faking it. And that actually works, is contraindicated. It works against confidence, because it will always constantly push us to wonder, to question, because I'm being fake, I'm faking it. Can other people around me pick on it? Will they be also seeing that I'm faking it? So I'm always going to have to work extra to make sure that the other people doesn't know that I'm faking it. And that's when we lose ourselves, unfortunately. To me, I do believe in, and I know this study very well, the one that you talk about. And I believe that there are items that will help us. For example, me in particular, when I do a presentation that is with a big audience, and a big audience, I mean more than 100 people, I normally like to wear high heels. And it doesn't have to be like high, it just, I like to have heels. It makes me feel more confident. And I believe my confidence level is really strong, but for some reason, it gives me that empowerment. So that's okay. We have to be able to understand ourselves and our bodies and see what is it that it makes me feel good. However, it's not necessarily that without it, I will not be able to perform. Okay. The example that you made of the loud voice, this is someone who perhaps wants to get the attention, almost like the control of the situation before somebody actually takes it, and then I'm gonna be withdrawn. So the louder that I am, the people will recognize me, and perhaps they will just not point at me in a certain negative way, you know? So to me, but there are people that have loud voices. I have a loud voice. So you might consider me being loud, and I'm not just exaggerating it, it's my tone, you know? So we have to be able to understand that there's a thin line between being and feeling and not pretending. Okay, so the moment that we start pretending to be something is when we start disconnecting ourselves with ourselves. And that to me is the beginning of the breakage of that confidence, is when you start losing your confidence.
So in order to believe in myself, we go into the phases of trial and error, because without trial and error, I can't build up the confidence and knowledge that I am able to do it.
Absolutely.
But how do I prevent the errors that happen from defeating me and taking away from my confidence?
I can mention something, maybe Federica can add to it. It is what you said, is the belief that we have. I can tell you a story when I came to Kuwait 16 years ago. So I moved in, I married a Kuwaiti, but I came in not being Arab, not being Muslim, not speaking Arabic, not having any family or relatives or friends around it, not knowing the city. I got lost quite a bit. And everyone that I would talk, they would ask me, how are you doing? Like with this kind of worry, sad feeling. How are you doing? How are you handling? I'm like, it's fine. I'm getting lost, but I'm getting my way around too, you know? And my husband always said, you know, I'm going to invite the wives of my friends. I'm like, you don't need to feel pity. I got this. And now 16 years later, I think I know the culture better than him. I have more friends than him. I have more connections than him. And it's just because you have to have that internal belief in yourself. It will not be easy, but it's not impossible. And so then all you have to know is, I like when you said try and error. Yes, we try, we fall down, we dust off our knees, and we keep on going because you believe that you have what it takes. But when we get stuck, I fell down and I won't try again, that's when things start going down.
Yes,
And
I want to
Federica, you
connect.
feel the same way?
Yes, yeah. I want to connect because starting from the shoes, when Joanna was talking about shoes, no? Of course, it's good to stay comfortable. We have to find what is making us feeling comfortable. And it depends what we are doing, I would say, because at the same time, we have two needs. One is to feel safe. The other is to get surprised, to discover the world, to risk something. So what Joanna was talking about, it was, okay, let's try a new experience, knowing that there can be some dangers or big, little, doesn't matter. So sometimes in our lives, we are not trying to stay in some specific situation because they are just new for us. We never tried and we think we are not able to do it, but we cannot know if we don't try. So I think sometimes it's good going out from what we call the comfort zone, trying new experience with the child look, can I say like this, with the surprise to see, oh, what is going to happen? Yes, maybe I will fall down, but I can learn, or I can discover, okay, that is not the situation I like, but not because I'm not able, because I don't like, so then I can choose. But I don't have to tell myself, I am not able. I am not able to know if I don't try. So let's take some risks sometimes.
Okay, so given those points, now as Taiba today, and this question goes to both of you, where do I start with building that confidence? What does it look like? Do I first need to acknowledge where I am now and then build on it? Or do I just keep going within what I'm already doing and then just tweak as I go?
Are you asking to me, Joanna?
Both. Let's go ahead with you, Federica.
Okay. It depends, of course. There are so many different situations of people who are just a little not so much self-confident. Others who have so many difficulties, can be very hard. So for everyone, I would say, what I was saying before, do it also with some fear. And recognize your vulnerabilities, accept them. Yes, every one of us has some difficulties, but if you are, Joanna was saying, if you hide that, so you are doing a double job. Only if you accept, and it's not about saying to everyone, you can also, if you don't mind, why not? But it's about to say to yourself, yes, I know I'm not so strong in this, but doesn't mind. And this is connected, I think, to stay in touch with our internal child again. The child that was at the beginning so happy to stay at the world and then started to receive some bad experiences. So that child is still here, but together there is an adult who had also, I'm sure, some good experiences. So we have to take from that the strength and to look at the child and reassure him, hugging him and say, okay, we can do together. But of course, it depends. It's a very long process, and we have just to collect some little experience, also taking some risks. We can do some mistakes and say, okay, doesn't matter, next time I will do better. That's my opinion.
Interesting. Joanne, what can I do?
I agree 100%. And I would probably add, statistically, it has been proven that more confident people have one common component, which is positivity or optimistic. So we see that more successful people will fail, but they believe that they can try again and they will succeed. Okay, so I think a factor of optimism and positivity is key. I think that we may have gone through patches or rough moments in our lives, but I think the first aspect that we have to look into is the importance of self-care. That's an absolute priority, because the moment that we take care of ourselves is the moment that we start valuing and respecting ourselves. Once we respect ourselves, the self-esteem grows because we feel better. And when the self-esteem is stronger, the confidence gets stronger. Okay, so we probably need to start from that very fundamental level of self-respect.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but can you talk a bit about what self-care looks like?
Yes, absolutely. Interrupt me. I like to be interactive. Self-care can vary. Okay, it has many different aspects. It's like a rainbow. It has many different layers and very different colors. But the fundamental thing is to know that we are important. Okay, so me as actually before this this webinar, the session that I had before this, she's pregnant and she's actually thinking, she's worried because she doesn't know if she's going to be able to cope with the demands of having a baby. And she said, I am the type of mom, the type of woman that I don't want nannies. I don't want helpers. I don't want my mother, my in-laws. I want to do it. I want to, like, even in my marriage, I'm the one that cook. Oh, we only have a part-time person that comes and help us clean. I said, all of this is beautiful, perfect. But you have to be able to understand that are you giving some time for you, for yourself as well? Because then otherwise it's going to get into a burnout stage, you know? And so we have to be able to understand that as those aspects are important, I am as important. So self-care starts from number one, admitting the importance of the individual. Number two, doing more of what makes me happy. A lot of times we do what we're good at and we do what we have to do, but we never stop and ask, does it make me happy? So I say, for example, what makes me happy? It makes me happy to dance. When was the last time that you danced? Oh, it was like about 2 years ago. So, you know, oh, I love cooking. When was the last time you cook? Oh, I don't know. I'm so busy. I don't have time. I actually just buy and deliver and buy what, you know. So if we don't start from the things that makes me happy, that's not a self-care. Okay, so also understanding that there's got to be a balance in our days, in our week, in our month. It has to be a balance. We have to be able to recharge. I always say, in the typical social media graphic picture of the battery of the phone, right? It goes down and we recharge it. The same thing happened to us, and it's true. It's a cliche, but we have to recharge our batteries. Do you know what and how you can recharge your batteries? That's knowing ourselves. So one of the things that I always practice with my clients is celebration, how to celebrate and what to celebrate. A lot of times they don't even know how to celebrate. And celebrate can start from just a word, a kind word. Good job. I did it. Good job. That was amazing. Inviting someone because I had a very busy week and I'm going to invite somebody to play some cards with me this weekend, you know? So we need to know how to celebrate and what to celebrate. So those are basics for self-care.
Yeah, those sounds great. I think today with this era of, as you said, social media, it's very hard to stop and say good job, because you're always comparing yourself to what someone else is doing, and they're doing so much more than what I am doing. So, Federico, how do you feel I should deal with that? Should I just get off social media,
No,
or what do
no,
I do?
I would correct what you say. The others are showing always they are doing better, but actually we don't know. And this in the social and also in true life. And I want to say something about social media in this specific time. As we had the experience to stay at home for a long time, everyone in a different way, but above all, the teenagers. I've met many teenagers who had school at home, but online, and they were saying to me, I cannot stand it anymore, and I'm so much afraid to speak online. And I can understand them. I have this problem. I don't like to so much, but this is what we can do, not only because we are in Kuwait, but we are doing this in Italy from more than 1 year. And because they are afraid to be judged so much through the online way. And that is the point about confidence. Self-confidence is connected to how much confident you are with the external world, how much you feel that the other can betray you, can give you problem, will not love you. No, about self-care that Joanna was talking about is also connected to the idea I don't like to anyone. The others are always judging me. And of course, social media, as you were saying, Taiba, can increase this problem, but I will not delete them. Of course, we have to learn and to teach how to use. But it's not only the social media the problem. The problem is the idea that everyone is looking at you, judging, because you build this idea of yourself, maybe with your family experience when you were, or other kind of bad experience in your life when you were a child. So we have to stop this kind of thinking. And I think also to shift the attention from ourselves to the others. Maybe also the others are having this kind of thinking. Maybe also the others are afraid. So let's try to build a bridge on these points, because there we can find that, okay, we are not alone, and we can start again to be confident in the others.
Do you feel that it could actually be used for your benefit? Because when you're on social media, for example, like you're on Instagram and you're posting, and then you can go back and see where you were and where you are today, which obviously there has been some progress. We're just not aware of it. Is this a good way to journal my journey?
Look, again, the session I had with that patient I was talking before, I was asking, on your opinion, what made the change in these last days? And she said, you know what? My mother gave me to see my old pictures when I was a child. And I was looking at them with completely another look. So I think this can happen in long times. I'm not so sure in a few years, but of course we can learn something, we can discover something from our pictures. I sometimes use them to work, and it's very nice, can help.
Amazing.
I think Taiba, I think it's dependent on how you use what is the usage of your social media, you know. You use it to impress others, you use it as a journaling experience for you, you know. My personal account It's all pictures of trips and things. When I'm in a waiting room, in a doctor's appointment, I go back and I'm like, oh my God, this place. And, you know, so, but it's very private. It's more for me than for others, you know? So I think it depends on what is the purpose of your social media usage.
Yeah.
I think it's more than my usage as much as my comparison, which gives my confidence a hit. When, for example, I use examples about myself. When I look at other mothers, how they bounce back after having kids, or their bodies bounce back, and then they're back at work, and I'm like, why did it take me months to one, look better and then fit into my jeans? And then to be able to juggle that separation anxiety from my son, and then just being able to focus at work. Is there something wrong with me? I think that's the bigger part that I want to know how to deal with. If I'm a new mother, I was lucky that social media didn't exist when I first had my kids. I don't think I would have done well with it. But I see a lot of women today, younger women, who are struggling because they need to look good, and that doesn't add to their confidence when they see everyone else bouncing back. And one person commented about filters and just not knowing where the filter starts and where reality ends, basically. So what are ways we can acknowledge that this is not real, and then be able to find those smaller wins that we can call wins when everyone else is saying, no, a win is not running for 10 minutes, it's running for a marathon. That's a win. That's what you should be celebrating. And things like you have to grind and you have to have grit to be successful. All of these damper a person's confidence, that I don't have it in me, especially if you look at things like personality traits of an introvert versus an extrovert. Confidence is very different for each one. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Joanna, you... No, I don't know. Yes,
Go
I
ahead,
agree.
Federica.
Yes, I agree also. Because we have to respect ourselves, our inner, and so there's nothing, there's no problem if one person is more introvert. But if he's suffering, he's suffering for this, and he wants to be more open, so he needs to reassure himself, herself, and say, okay, I can try, why not? And maybe one day, one evening, I can try to do a little different, trying to, but not hiding, but doing new experiences. That is the point of my view.
I think,
Yeah.
Teva, that the key is to get to know ourselves better and to know what are my capacities, what are my limits. You know, I have a lot of people that are well known on social media, and they are also battling their own struggles. You know, they're having their own battles, and so we have to be able to understand that, yes, that person may look amazing in those jeans a month after delivery. One thing could be the genes, actually the genetics. Okay, another thing could be the actual stress that that person put herself into, or him, or you know, what did they do in order to go to get to that place. I had a client with a severe eating disorder, and she said one of the key factors that increased my eating disorder was the fact that people kept saying, whoa, how did you do it? You look amazing. You lost so much weight. Oh my God, every time I see you, you're skinnier. And so then she got a reassurance and that approval. And so it made her be even a lot more harsh on her body in order to maintain that weight or that look, you know. So we never know. I always say, just don't compare. We're very different. Everybody's different. Everybody may need less time, more time, different things. Just be able to understand and to read yourself.
Yeah. No, I just have one question I would like to ask. First of all, thank you very much, because I'm really learning a lot. And of course, I mean, I really like the connection with the self-care, because all starts there. But while you were thinking, we talk about, you know, low level of confidence. What about when there is overconfidence, if there is? And how is the line and the balance with arrogance? Because sometimes, you know, it happens to me that when I meet people, I say, okay, they're very confident, but I don't really like them neither. I think they can be, you know, dangerous for for themselves at the same time. So I want to know what you think about the overconfidence and the arrogance, how to balance. So this is for both of you, this question.
But overconfidence, I'm trying to think, but I cannot imagine. I understand what you mean. And I think to what you say, arrogance and yes, I was saying something before about this, no? About the ones who is the other side, the ones who are showing they are so self-confident, but you can feel, it's very easy to feel and to see that there is a kind of mask, there is something that is
it doesn't
not
work.
working, no? And that is the other strategy that someone has found. And at the same time, this is helpful for the ones who are low confident to recognize they are so similar somehow. Yes, I would say this because both of them are thinking that the others are all looking at them and thinking something. They feel somehow in the middle for a bad reason or for a very good reason. But the process is similar somehow. So that was what I was saying before. Try to move your attention from yourself. You are not in the middle. You are like the others. And as Joanna was saying, at the same time, you are completely different. So the other's attention is not always on yourself, in the bad and in the good way. So yes, I think somehow they are similar.
So can we say, for example, I don't know, that the arrogance is the result of low confidence?
On my opinion, yes.
Okay, so
in your opinion,
yeah, I will give my opinion as well. I think so. And I actually think and again, this is just Joanne speaking. Okay, you can just quote me on it. There's no such thing as overconfident, as you are confident or not. I think that those that are perceived as overconfident is what Federica said. They're just masking something. They have to prove something. And a person that is confident doesn't have to prove.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's the thin line. And so then overconfident and arrogance may go hand in hand. They may go together, because when we are arrogant, when the person is over, I don't know, yeah, arrogant, let's say, it's because of the need to overpower. When the person wants to be arrogant, it's because I want to be the big dog, okay? And if I have the need to be that overpowering the others, it's because of there's a fear factor here. So I have the need to overpower, because what would happen if they overpower me? What happened if they corner me? You know, so I believe that that's what makes the person being more arrogant. Arrogant can be rude, can be aggressive, can be disrespectful. Sorry,
Joanna, I attack because I'm so much afraid to be attacked.
To be attacked.
So I am afraid. I'm not so much brave heart.
Strong as I want to show.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, this is a classic bullying. You know, we have bullying at all ages and in all different settings. Yes. You know, and what happened with bullies? People see them and the not so overpowered people may see them as, oh my God, I'm afraid of that person, right? And why we see them like that? Because they are trying to mask, let me attack before they actually attack me. And I say everyone who bullies is hurt inside. There's a lot of things that have not been solved yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that goes, there's a comment from Farah who says, I think also sometimes our voices are not heard. That's why we need to be loud. So it could go the other way. If you feel like you're not valid or valued, you need to be louder. No?
True, but I would be very careful with saying yes, absolutely. And this is a very good comment, because nowadays we see the wave that we're seeing in the world of feminism, for example. And we have to be extra loud, and we have to go to the streets with big signs saying equal rights and all of that, right? I have been working in many different settings, universities, clinics, hospitals, substance abuse institutions, in many different settings. And in most of them, men was the dominant gender. Okay. I never had to fight and be loud in order to be heard. I just had to be confident. I had to be able that what I'm saying it with substance, that I am make sure that I'm saying it with fundamental knowledge. If I am not connected with what I'm saying, if I don't believe in what I'm saying, that's when they will come and overpower me. But when I have proof, when I have, that sense of it should be done this way, because X, Y, and Z, because research, because of past experiences, because of history, because of whatever, people will turn around and say, what do you have to say? And we speak firmly. We don't hesitate. And that's what I always say. And I know before we started this talk, you mentioned that we wanted to focus on women and we wanted to focus on the workplace. I have to say that us women, sorry for the men that are here today, we have a lot more skills, and we have the ability to multitask and to diversify ourselves a lot more than men. And it's interesting because statistics have shown that young women, like 4 in 5 women, suffer from low self-esteem and confidence at the younger age. But as they grow, is as equal. So there is a factor of what there, of experience, of knowing and proving ourselves. So when we believe that we have accomplished and we have gained, no one can stop us. So I don't have to be loud. And I always say, I can break a man's leg with a very nice smile in my face. I don't need to be loud to be heard. In certain scenarios, of course, I have to be careful with that.
So I came to a conclusion with years of reading about these topics, especially pertaining to women, and tell me if I am correct or I'm wrong. Lack of self-confidence is wanting to control everyone and everything around you, but being confident is understanding yourself and being able to control yourself, being resilient and moving on. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
I would not use the word control, but taking care, accepting, and take the hands and go on walking. I prefer this because controlling makes me think to someone still judging and taking the power. Yes, so we don't.
Okay, we have an interesting question. Is being humble one of the steps towards being confident? Federica.
Sorry, is being humble.
Is humble one of the many steps towards building confidence?
I have to say, to be really honest, I don't know the meaning of humble. Can you explain?
Like being
Sorry.
Down to earth.
Down to earth, not bragging. Okay, so being humble,
Yeah.
in my opinion, being humble, it is not really correlated. It doesn't have much. I can be very humbled, and that doesn't mean that I'm confident, that I'm lack of confidence. Humble can be, it's a characteristic of a personality. It's a trait that you have. But the opposite of it, which is bragging about it, is what I think that may be connected with the lack of confidence. We have to, and I would please emphasize that as human beings, we have to be able to recognize our own achievements as well. Okay, so being humble is great, is beautiful, amazing, but we also need to learn how to celebrate our achievements. If I keep quiet, if I don't talk about it, no one will know about me. If I don't promote what I'm doing, people will not have to get to know me. Now people all over the world know me, now even in Italy, you know. So and we cannot be humble, because you're not going to leave the cocoon, you're not going to leave your bubble if you are just always humble. Now, I will not be I will be humble when it comes to so much of the things. I don't have to tell everybody all the things that I have done and that I have accomplished, you know what I mean? So there's got to be a balance there.
And now, sorry, I understood the meaning.
Go ahead.
No, yes, I want to add that also, before talking about speaking loud, I can speak with someone who is speaking loud, and if I don't like, I start speaking very quiet, very down, and magically he's connecting with me. So, but this is not to be humble. This is using the mind, using what Joanna was saying, our abilities, another strategy. And yes, we need to know who we are, to say, as I did before, sorry, this I don't know, or this I'm not able to do, but it's not humble, it's what it is, and I don't feel less strong, less able to do things because I don't know something or I never did. It's different.
Interesting. Federica, there's a question from Paula. Is there a connection to low confidence and addiction, for example, with food or bad relationships and love addictions?
There can be. I'll just say shortly, we said something with Joanna. Of course, this is connected to how we felt in our primary relation with the caregiver, usually the mother, but not only, the family in general. And generally, I can say that people who are self-confident are the ones who are not so sure to find again, if they go far, to find again the one is loving them. So that's why they can have the anxiety to stay always so much close and developing some what we are saying addiction in the relation, because that is a kind of control we are trying to have on the other. So there can be a connection, in my opinion, yes.
John, is that addiction or codependency, or are they the same?
No, they're not the same. And addiction, going back to the question, the previous question, we have to look into most of the times addictions and that dependency on people or food or other things is basically the person looking in the search of looking for that belonging, looking for that safe place, that safe comfort place or comfort zone. Most people we've seen in experiences that most people, for example, with anxiety disorders have the tendency to create addictions, addiction to meds, addiction to people, addiction to shopping, addiction because they're numbing an emotion. So I would say, unfortunately, I believe there is a connection on that low self-esteem and addictions, because we actually are looking for an outside perhaps substance or item or person to fulfill something that is missing inside, and that's when we need to start, you know, looking into the inside, who I am, what I'm capable, what I have, what are my strengths, what are my, you know, traits, my characteristics, my personality, what is good about me, what I like about myself, that I don't need someone to come and validate, you know. I work a lot with addictions. Actually, this morning I had a webinar, almost 2-hour webinar about addictions, and I always say the people have the tendency to lose themselves trying to fit in and trying to find that soothing with an item or a person or a substance in the searching is when we actually end up, you know, with an addiction or a dependency. If I answer the question.
Amazing. Yes, thank you. And we are unfortunately running out of time, but this was amazing. We loved having you here. Thank you so much, Dr. Joanne Hans and Dr. Federica Ferrari. If you guys are interested in following more of their work on our Instagram page, we have tagged them, so you can follow them each separately. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.